All right, let's set the scene. Picture this. It's 2010, and the entire internet is pretty much convinced that MySQL, the database that basically built the early web, is about to die. Oracle had just bought its parent company, Sun Microsystems, and the tech world was, well, they were panicking. Everyone thought they knew exactly what was going to happen next. And I mean, this was the take you heard everywhere. Forums, blog posts, conferences, you name it. The logic seemed super simple, right? Oracle sells one of the most expensive lockdown databases in the world. MySQL was the free open-source upstart that was a direct threat to their whole business model. So, of course, they were going to kill it. It just seemed obvious. But here's the thing. That prediction everyone was so sure about, yeah, it never happened. Not even close. MySQL didn't die. Something way stranger and honestly way more interesting happened instead. It didn't get killed. It kind of just sold out. And that is the story of the MySQL Civil War. So, to really get why everyone was freaking out, you have to understand the two main players in this whole drama. Because they weren't just two companies. They were like two completely opposite ways of thinking about software. A total clash of philosophies. Okay, so on one side, you've got MySQL. This was the people's database. It was free, it was open source, it was literally everywhere, powering the whole LAMP stack that so much of the web was built on. Then you have Oracle. Think of them as the empire. They were all about enterprise, super expensive, totally locked down, and the kind of database you only bought when your CFO had a massive budget to play with. So yeah, when Oracle suddenly owned MySQL, this wasn't just seen as some boring business deal. To the developer community, it just felt wrong. Honestly, this is the best way to put it. It really did feel like Darth Vader was adopting a friendly, lovable puppy. You just knew something bad was about to happen. But while most developers were just sitting around waiting for the funeral, one person decided he wasn't going to wait and see. The rebellion was about to kick off, and it was led by the one guy who knew MySQL better than anyone on the planet. Now, before we get into what he did, we gotta quickly define a key term here, a fork. In the open source world, when you fork a project, you're basically taking all of its source code and starting a brand new, separate project with it. You're taking it in a totally different direction. It's basically a declaration of independence. And things happened fast. In 2010, almost right after the acquisition went through, Michael Montewoodinius, the original creator of MySQL, he hit the eject button. He forked the code and created MariaDB. And listen, this wasn't some quiet little side project. This was a mass migration. The open source community followed him in droves. We're talking major Linux distributions, Wikipedia, even Google all made the switch. And just like that, the battle lines were drawn. MariaDB was immediately seen as the cool, open source, spiritual successor, the one carrying the original torch. And MySQL? Well, it was now officially the corporate sellout, the project that had lost its soul. So see, MySQL didn't die. It just became corporate. But here's the big twist. While all this was happening, what was Oracle actually doing? Because their plan was never to kill MySQL. No, it was something much more clever. They didn't want to kill it. They wanted to weaponize it. So instead of just letting MySQL die on the vine, Oracle did the exact opposite. They pumped a ton of money into it, but with a very, very specific goal. They started turning it into this high-performance cloud product called MySQL HeatWave. This whole thing was an analytics engine designed for one purpose: to keep huge paying customers locked inside the Oracle Cloud. And their strategy becomes super clear when you look at all the things they didn't do. There were no flashy new features for us regular developers, no fun, experimental open source side projects, and they definitely didn't try to build any Postgres-style community hype. Nope. Every single move was about building boring but powerful enterprise features that would make big-shot CIOs want to stay on Oracle Cloud. And this totally explains why, if you were just a regular developer, MySQL started to feel dead. I mean, you'd look over at something like PostgreSQL and you'd see new features popping up all the time, a massive ecosystem of extensions, and this loud, excited community. Then you'd look at MySQL, and you got quiet releases, corporate speak in the change logs, and updates that just felt boring because they weren't for you. They were for Oracle's big money clients. So this is basically how the whole Civil War finally came to an end. It wasn't with one side winning and the other losing. Instead, what we got were two totally different victors, each living in their own separate world. And this really became the New World Order. You have Oracle's MySQL, which is now totally focused on enterprise CIOs. Its priorities are cloud revenue and rock-solid stability, giving it this corporate, predictable identity. And then you have MariaDB, which became the home for everyday developers. Its priorities are all about community and innovation, and it carries that original, open, community-driven identity forward.
So back to the big question, did Oracle kill MySQL? Absolutely not. What they did was transform it into a product built for enterprise cloud revenue, not for the open source community that made it famous. MySQL didn't die, it just evolved into something else, while MariaDB carried the original mission forward. Which leaves us with one final thought. This whole conflict started with a single chunk of code, but it's split into two completely different projects that serve two totally different masters. So, was the MySQL civil war really about code, or was it about something much deeper, a battle for its very identity? Because in the end, you could say both sides won, just in completely different ways.